Listen, yes you. Don't scroll. This isn't you, Lee. This isn't random. You were led here. Close the door. Block the noise. Because what I'm about to say is for you alone. You've been fighting battles no one sees, smiling in public, breaking in private. They misunderstood you. They doubted you. Some even left you when you needed them most. But I saw it all. Every tear you hid, every silent prayer you thought I ignored. You felt forgotten, but you were being prepared. Chosen one, you are not like them. That's why it's been harder. The pressure, the isolation, the confusion, it was never meant to destroy you. It was shaping you. Right now, in this moment, I need your full attention. Because what comes next will change everything you thought you knew about your pain and your purpose. Listen to me. I know what they did to you. I saw the doors close. I felt the silence they left behind. You called it rejection, but I call it protection. You kept asking yourself, why don't they understand me? Why do they walk away when I show them my heart? And deep down it hurt, not just a surface pain, it cut into your identity. Because you gave your loyalty, you gave your love, you showed up when no one else did, and still they turned their backs on you. But listen carefully, my child. They did not reject you because you were not enough. They rejected you because your spirit carries something they could not comprehend. There is a depth inside of you, a calling, a sensitivity, a fire that unsettles those who are not aligned with your purpose. You walked into rooms and shifted atmospheres without even speaking. You felt things others ignored. You saw truth where others chose comfort. And that made them uncomfortable. Not because you were wrong, but because your presence exposed what they tried to hide. So they distanced themselves, they labeled you. Some even tried to make you feel like you were the problem. But you were never the problem. You were the difference. I placed something inside of you before you were even aware of it. A purpose that doesn't blend in, a spirit that refuses to settle. And those who are not meant to walk with you will never fully understand you. That's why they left. Not because you failed, but because they could not go where I am taking you. I know it felt lonely. I know there were nights you questioned your worth, moments you wondered if something was wrong with you. But there was nothing wrong with you. You were simply ahead in spirit, ahead in purpose, ahead in calling. And what feels like rejection now will soon reveal itself as redirection. I removed them because they could not carry your next season. They could not handle the weight of your destiny. Where I am leading you requires clarity. It requires strength. It requires a heart that has been refined by pain, not broken by it. And you are being refined. Every tear you cried did not weaken you, it purified you. Every time they walked away, I was drawing you closer to me, because I needed you to understand something. Your validation does not come from people, it comes from me. You are chosen, not for comfort, but for purpose. And your purpose will never be understood by those who are not assigned to it. So release the need to be accepted, release the weight of their opinions. Because where you are going, they were never meant to follow. Stand up now, not in pride, but in identity. You are not rejected, you are selected. Listen, what you are fighting is not what it looks like. You keep trying to explain it to people. You try to put it into words, the heaviness, the pressure, the constant tension in your spirit. But they don't understand, they can't see it. And sometimes that makes you feel alone. You hear things like, "You're overthinking. It's not that serious. Just move on." But deep inside, you know the truth. This is not ordinary. This is spiritual. The battles you face were never meant to be visible to everyone. Because not everyone is equipped to recognize what you carry, or what is fighting against you. There are moments when everything looks fine on the outside, yet inside it feels like a war you cannot escape. Your mind becomes a battlefield. Your peace gets interrupted without warning. You feel drained even when you've done nothing. And you ask yourself, why me? Listen carefully. It's because of what's inside you. There is something on your life A calling, a light, a presence that disturbs darkness. And when darkness is disturbed, it doesn't stay silent. It resists. It pushes back. It tries to wear you down in ways no one else can see. That's why your battles feel different. This is not just about people, not just about circumstances. This is deeper. And while others are fighting what is in front of them, you are fighting what is behind it. You are discerning things others ignore. You are feeling shifts others can't explain. And it overwhelms you sometimes because you weren't taught how to handle this kind of weight. You weren't prepared for a war that has no visible enemy. But I was. I knew exactly what you would face when I placed that calling inside of you. I knew the nights you would feel attacked for no reason, the moments you would question your own strength. And still I chose you. Not because you were the strongest, but because I knew you would not give up. Even when you didn't understand, you kept going. Even when no one else saw the fight, you endured it. And I saw every moment. You are not weak for feeling this. You are aware. You are not losing your mind. You are waking up to a reality others are still asleep to. So don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Don't silence what you feel just because it can't be explained. What you are experiencing is real, but hear me. You are not fighting alone. Every unseen battle, I am standing with you in it. Every silent war, I am strengthening you through it. And what is trying to break you will never succeed. Because this battle was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal who you truly are. A warrior, chosen not just to survive the unseen, but to overcome it. Listen to me. I know how quiet it has become. The calls stopped. The messages faded. The people you thought would always be there slowly disappeared. And now it feels like you're alone in a way you've never been before. You sit in that silence and wonder, did I do something wrong? Why does it feel like everyone left me? And if you're honest, it feels like punishment. Like you've been set aside, forgotten, disconnected from everything that once felt familiar. But hear me clearly, this is not punishment. This is separation, divine separation. I did not remove you to hurt you. I removed you to prepare you. Because where I am taking you, you cannot carry the same distractions, the same voices, the same attachments. There are places I am leading you to that require a different version of you, stronger, clearer, deeper, and fully aligned. And that version of you cannot be built in noise. It must be formed in silence. I know you miss them. I know you miss the laughter, the connection, the feeling of being included. But what you don't see yet is this. Some of those connections were keeping you from becoming who you are meant to be. Not because they were bad people, but because they were not assigned to your next season. And if I allowed them to stay, you would have stayed the same. Comfortable, familiar, unstretched. But you were not created to stay where it's comfortable. You were created to grow. And growth often feels like loss before it feels like elevation. So I pulled you away. Not to isolate you in emptiness, but to separate you into purpose. In this season, I am reshaping you. I am teaching you how to stand without leaning on others, how to hear my voice without interference, how to find your identity without needing validation. This is where your strength is being built. In the quiet moments, when there's no one to distract you from yourself, in the long nights, when it feels like nothing is happening. Something is happening. You are being prepared. Prepared for a life that requires discipline. Prepared for a calling that demands focus. Prepared for a destiny that cannot be carried by a distracted version of you. I know it feels uncomfortable. Isolation always does. Because it forces you to face yourself, your thoughts, your fears, your doubts. But it also reveals something greater, your resilience, your depth, your connection to me. Because in this space where people are absent, I become clearer, closer, more real to you than ever before. You are not alone in this. You are with me, and I am doing a work in you that cannot be rushed, cannot be copied, and cannot be interrupted. So don't run from this season. Don't try to fill the silence with noise just to feel comfortable again. Because what you are becoming right now is worth every moment of separation. This isolation is not your ending. It is your transformation. And soon, you will step out of this season not as the person who felt abandoned, but as the one who was prepared. Listen, I remember every moment of your pain. Not just the big moments, but the quiet ones too. The nights you laid awake, staring into the dark, holding in tears you didn't want anyone to see. The days you smiled in front of others, while something inside you was slowly breaking. You thought no one noticed, but I did. I saw the weight you carried, the betrayal that cut deeper than words, the disappointment that kept repeating itself, and there were times you asked me, why would you let this happen to me? It didn't make sense. It didn't feel fair. But hear me now, none of that pain was wasted. Every moment you endured was shaping something inside of you that cannot be taken, copied, or destroyed. You thought it was breaking you, but it was building you. There is a strength forming in you, not loud, not obvious, but unshakable. The kind of strength that doesn't come from comfort, but from surviving what should have crushed you. You didn't give up. Even when you felt empty, even when you felt like you had nothing left to give, you kept going. And every time you chose to stand instead of collapse, you were becoming stronger than you realize. What hurt you also trained you. It taught you discernment. It taught you endurance. It taught you how to keep moving forward, even when your heart was heavy. That is not weakness. That is power. And no one can take that from you. Not the people who walked away. Not the ones who misunderstood you. Not even the moments that tried to define you. Because this strength was not given by them. It was built through what you survived. And I was with you through all of it. Every tear you cried, I collected it. Every time you felt like quitting, I gave you just enough strength to keep going. You may not have noticed it then, but you were never alone. Now look at yourself. You're still here, after everything. Still standing, still breathing, still moving forward. That is not ordinary. That is evidence of something greater within you, so don't resent the pain. Don't wish it never happened, because without it, you would not be who you are becoming. Stronger, wiser, unbreakable in a way the world cannot understand. What you went through did not steal from you. It deposited something eternal inside of you. A strength that no one can ever take away. Listen to me. I saw the pressure before it ever reached you. The weight, the expectations, the moments where everything felt like it was closing in at once. You felt overwhelmed, stretched beyond your limits, pushed into places you never asked to go. And you wondered, why is this happening to me? Why does it feel like I can't breathe? But what you didn't understand in those moments was this. I allowed the pressure because I trust what I placed inside you. Not what people see on the outside. Not the version of you that doubts, fears, or hesitates. I'm talking about what's deeper. The strength you haven't fully realized yet. The resilience hidden beneath your pain. The fire that refuses to go out, even in your darkest moments. You thought the pressure would break you, but I knew it would reveal you. Because pressure does not create what's inside, it exposes it. And inside of you is something powerful, something rare. That's why the weight has been heavier for you than for others. Because your capacity is different. I would never allow a level of pressure on you that you were not built to carry. Even when it felt like too much, you were still standing. Even when you felt like giving up, you didn't. That wasn't an accident. That was what I placed inside you rising. Every difficult moment has been training you, stretching your endurance, strengthening your spirit, preparing you for a life that requires more than comfort. It requires capacity, and you are being expanded. So don't fear the pressure anymore. Don't run from it, because it is not there to crush you. It is there to confirm that I trust you with what's coming next. Listen, you've been asking why it feels like you're always under attack, why things fall apart when you're finally moving forward. Why opposition rises the moment you start gaining clarity. Why the pressure increases when you're closest to peace. It doesn't feel normal, does it? It feels targeted, personal. And you're right, it is. But not for the reason you think. This is not happening because you are weak. This is not happening because you are failing. This is happening because you matter. Every attack against you is proof that your destiny threatens darkness. There is something on your life, a purpose, a calling, a light that was never meant to stay hidden. And darkness recognizes it, even when you don't. That's why the resistance is so consistent. That's why the battles feel heavier for you than for others. Because what you carry has the power to break chains, to shift atmospheres, to bring light into places that have been dark for too long. And anything that carries that kind of power will always face opposition. You thought it meant you were doing something wrong. But what if it means you're getting closer? Closer to clarity, closer to purpose, closer to becoming who you were always meant to be. The attacks increase when your impact gets near. That confusion you felt, it was trying to distract you. That discouragement, it was trying to weaken your focus. That sudden pressure, it was trying to make you stop before you stepped into something greater. But look at you. You're still here, still standing after everything that tried to take you out, still moving forward even when it felt like too much. That alone should tell you something. You are not easily defeated. Because what is on your life is protected. I have not allowed you to be destroyed. I have allowed you to be tested. And every attack you survived has only made you more aware, more focused, more prepared. So stop seeing the attacks as a sign to retreat. See them for what they truly are. Confirmation. Confirmation that you are a threat to what tries to keep people bound. Confirmation that your life carries weight in the spiritual realm. Confirmation that your destiny is real. Because if there was nothing valuable ahead of you, there would be no reason to fight you this hard. So stand firm, not in fear but in awareness. You are not being attacked without purpose. You are being opposed. Because you are chosen to overcome. Listen to me. I know there were moments you felt completely alone. Not just physically, but deeply, painfully alone. The kind of silence that echoes. The kind of emptiness that makes you question everything. You looked around, and the people you expected to be there weren't. The support you counted on disappeared. The voices that once comforted you went quiet. And in those moments, it didn't just feel like people left you. It felt like I did too. You prayed and heard nothing. You cried and felt unseen. You kept going, but inside you were asking, where are you? Why does it feel like I've been abandoned? But hear me now clearly. You were never abandoned. Not for a second. Even in your darkest moment, you were protected. Even when it felt like everything was falling apart. There were things I was holding together that you could not see. There were dangers I blocked, paths I closed, people I removed. Not to hurt you, but to protect you from what you were not meant to carry. You saw loss. I saw preservation. You felt absence. I was working in ways you could not yet understand. There were moments where you thought, if I take one more step, I might break. But you didn't. You're still here, and that alone is proof you were being held even when you couldn't feel it. I was in the silence. I was in the delay. I was in the moments where nothing made sense. Because protection does not always feel like comfort. Sometimes it feels like distance. Sometimes it feels like things not working out. Sometimes it feels like being alone when you need someone the most. But what you didn't see was this. If I had allowed certain people to stay, they would have broken you in ways you were not prepared to heal from. If I had opened certain doors, you would have stepped into situations that could have destroyed your peace, your purpose, your future. So I stepped in, quietly, without explanation, and I covered you, even when you didn't understand it, even when you questioned me, even when your faith felt weak. My protection over your life never weakened, not once. You may have felt exposed, but you were never unguarded. You may have felt forgotten, but you were always being watched over. And now, look back. Think about everything you survived. Everything that could have taken you out, but didn't. That wasn't luck. That was me. So the next time you feel alone, the next time the silence makes you question everything, remember this. Just because you cannot feel my presence does not mean you are outside of my protection. You are still covered, still guided, still chosen, and no matter how it feels in the moment, you have never and will never walk through this life unprotected. Listen, I remember the moment you almost gave up. Not the one people saw, the hidden one. The silent breaking point where you smiled on the outside, but inside you felt like everything was slipping away. You looked around, and it felt empty. No support, no answers, no sign that anything was working in your favor. And in that space, you started to believe something painful? That I left you? But I need you to hear me now. I never left. Not in your confusion, not in your pain, not even in your doubt. You were protected, even when it felt like complete abandonment. There were things happening around you that you couldn't see. Situations forming, intentions hidden, outcomes that could have harmed you deeply. And I stepped in, not loudly, not in a way that made sense to you, but strategically. I closed doors you begged me to open. I removed people you wanted to keep. I delayed things you were ready to rush into. And you thought I was ignoring you. But I was guarding you. Because sometimes protection doesn't feel like presence, it feels like distance. Sometimes it doesn't feel like comfort, it feels like loss. But what you called loss was actually me standing between you and something that wasn't meant for you. You didn't see the full picture. You only felt the emptiness. But I saw what was ahead. I saw what could have broken your spirit, what could have distracted your purposer, what could have delayed your destiny far beyond what you were ready to recover from. So I covered you, even when you questioned me, even when your faith felt fragile, even when your prayers felt unanswered. You were never unprotected. Look at your life. After everything that could have destroyed you, you're still here, still standing, still breathing, still moving forward. That is not coincidence. That is protection, my protection. So don't let your feelings rewrite the truth. Just because it felt like I was absent does not mean I wasn't active. I was working in ways your eyes couldn't see, shielding you, guiding you, preserving you. Because your life has value, your purpose has weight, and your destiny is too important to be left unguarded. So trust me in the silence. Trust me in the moments that don't make sense. Because even when it feels like you've been left alone, you are still covered. Listen. You thought it was the end of you. That moment, when everything felt too heavy, when the pressure didn't just touch your life, it pressed into your soul. You remember it. The betrayal, the loss, the confusion that left you questioning who you even were. You said to yourself, this might break me. And for a moment, it felt like it did. But look at you now. You're still here. And what you don't fully realize yet is this. What tried to break you was actually building your authority. Authority is not given in comfort. It is formed in survival. Every time you were pushed to your limit and still found a way to stand, you gained strength others cannot see. Every time you were misunderstood but chose not to lose yourself, you gained control over your spirit. Every time life hit you and you didn't quit, you stepped into a higher level of power. You thought you were losing pieces of yourself, but you were actually shedding weakness. You were being refined, because the version of you that carries authority cannot be easily shaken, cannot be easily broken, cannot be easily controlled by circumstances. And that's who you are becoming. The pain taught you discernment. The pressure taught you endurance. The struggle taught you how to stand alone if necessary. That is authority, not loud, not arrogant, but unmovable. So don't regret what you went through, because without it, you would not carry the weight you now hold. You are not just surviving anymore. You are rising with something greater. a presence, a strength, an authority. That was built in the very moments that were meant to break you. Listen, I know you've been waiting for things to change, waiting for answers, waiting for doors that seemed like they should have opened by now. And in that waiting, frustration started to grow. You questioned yourself, you questioned the path, and if you're honest, you even questioned me. Why is it taking so long? Did I miss my chance? It felt like silence, like nothing was moving, like you were being held back while everyone else moved forward. But hear me clearly, the delay was not denial. It was divine timing aligning everything. You were looking at the clock. I was looking at the whole picture. There were things you couldn't see, people not ready yet, situations not stable yet, details not fully in place yet. And if I had given it to you too soon, it would not have lasted. It would have broken under pressure. So I waited, not to frustrate you, but to protect what I have prepared for you, because what is meant for you requires the right timing, not just the right desire. I was working behind the scenes, shifting things, removing obstacles you didn't even know existed, positioning the right opportunities to meet you at the right moment. While you thought nothing was happening, everything was being arranged. Even you were being prepared. Your mindset needed to grow. Your strength needed to deepen. Your vision needed to mature. Because what is coming next in your life cannot be handled by the version of you that was rushing. It requires patience, clarity, readiness, and now you're closer than you think. What felt like a long delay was actually a precise setup. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. So don't lose faith now. Don't walk away in the final moments just because it took longer than you expected. Trust this. If it hasn't happened yet, it's not because it's been denied. It's because it's being aligned. And when it finally arrives, you will understand why it had to take this long. Listen, you've asked this question more times than you can count. Why did all of this happen to me? The pain, the confusion, the losses that didn't make sense, moments that felt random, unfair, even cruel. You tried to connect the dots, but nothing seemed to line up. It felt like chaos, like your life was just a series of events you had no control over. But hear me now. Nothing that happened to you was ever by accident. Not one moment, not one tear, not one door that closed or path that shifted unexpectedly. You are chosen. And a chosen life is not a random life, it is a directed one, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every experience you went through was shaping something specific inside of you. The pain gave you depth, the rejection gave you discernment, the struggle gave you strength. Things others wouldn't understand, you lived through them. And because of that, you now carry a perspective, a resilience, and a level of awareness that cannot be taught, only experienced. You thought you were just surviving, but you were being prepared. Prepared for moments that require wisdom. Prepared for people who will need what you've learned. Prepared for a purpose that can only be fulfilled by someone who has walked through what you've walked through. Even the moments you regret. Yes, even those. They taught you lessons that redirected your path. They slowed you down when you were moving too fast. They opened your eyes when you couldn't see clearly. Nothing was wasted. I was in all of it, guiding you even when you didn't realize it, allowing certain things while preventing others. Because your life has meaning beyond what you can currently see. You are not here by chance. You are here by design, chosen for a purpose that required every part of your journey. The good, the painful, the confusing, all of it. So stop looking back with regret. Stop questioning why it happened. Instead, start recognizing what it built within you. Because everything you've been through was leading you to this version of yourself. Stronger, wiser, awakened. You are chosen, and your story was never random. Wait, you're starting to see it now, aren't you? All those moments you thought were meaningless, they weren't empty. They were building something. Every delay, every closed door, every time you felt like life was working against you, It was positioning you, not punishing you, preparing you. That pain you carried for so long, it wasn't just suffering, it was training. Training your spirit to endure what others cannot, training your mind to see what others ignore, training your heart to survive what should have hardened you, but instead made you deeper. And now something inside you is waking up. You can feel it. A shift, a clarity you didn't have before. You're no longer the same person who broke in those moments. You're someone who understands, someone who sees patterns, someone who recognizes that nothing you went through was random. Because while you thought you were being left alone, you were being protected. There were things you wanted that would have destroyed you, paths you almost took that would have delayed your destiny. People you tried to hold onto that were never meant to walk into your future. And somehow, they didn't stay. Things didn't work out. Doors didn't open. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you were covered, even when it didn't feel like it. Especially when it didn't feel like it. And now you're standing in a different place. Stronger, more aware, more aligned than you've ever been before. This is not coincidence. This is activation. Everything you went through is starting to make sense in a way it never did before. The pain had purpose. The struggle had direction. The isolation had intention. And now you're stepping into it. Not the confusion, the calling. Not the pain, the power. Not the past, the purpose. This is where it changes. This is where you stop seeing yourself as someone who went through hardship and start realizing you were being prepared for something greater all along. Now listen one last time. After everything you've been through, you're still here, not broken beyond repair, not forgotten, not abandoned, still standing. And that means something. It means I never left you, not in the nights you cried in silence, not in the moments you felt weak, not when you questioned everything and didn't understand what I was doing. I was there, holding you together when you felt like falling apart, guiding you when you couldn't see the way forward, protecting you from things you didn't even know were sent to stop you. You made it through because I carried you through. And now, look at you. You're not the same person anymore. You've grown, you've awakened, you've endured what should have taken you out, and you're still rising. This is your moment, not to look back in pain, but to stand forward in power. Everything you went through was not the end of your story. It was the making of you. You are stronger now, wiser now, more aware of who you are and whose you are. So stand up. Stand up in your identity. Stand up in your strength. Stand up knowing that you are chosen for something greater than what tried to break you. The fear doesn't control you anymore. The past doesn't define you anymore. You are stepping into purpose, into clarity, into destiny, and no force that came against you was strong enough to stop what I placed inside of you. So don't shrink now, don't doubt now. This is the time to rise, to walk boldly, to trust deeply, to move forward without fear. Because I am with you. I have always been with you. And I will never leave you. You are chosen. And your story is just beginning.